Legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed and discussed. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew, and I fucking love whiskey. I don't know. Maybe you can tell. It's a little on my chest, right on the nose. Hi, I'm Andrew.
You got something on your chest. When you get this thing off your chest,
Let me get it off my chest, baby. As always, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh, everybody.
That's me. I'm Joseph Limbaugh. Whiskey. Here's the deal. I fucking love it. And we have returning someone who Andrew and I both love very much, the delightful and amazingly talented Kelly Lohman.
Well, I appreciate you having me back because apparently the jury's still out. Do I or don't I fucking love whiskey? And we'll find out tonight.
And just like that.
Sorry. and of course, Thad is with us as well. Say hello, Thad.
Of course, as always.
Hello, hello.
There he is. He comes in with just the best tasting notes and often tells us where we've gone astray. Hey, today, Kelly last week was asking me for some recommendations of whiskeys because she wanted to get some for a friend of hers or a relative of hers or something like that. Relative?
Clearly you were paying attention.
The whiskey. Like I stopped after whiskey.
She talked about it before the show too, and you were like, "This is what you heard from Kelly." Whiskey. That's what you heard, right? I mean,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So right.
But you're right. I mean, it is my friend's relative. So it's my dear friend's father, who's also my friend. His name is Kevin. And he just found out that he's 59% Scottish. And he wanted to take this opportunity to learn about Scotch. He's not a Scotch drinker, but he really wants to become one. And Andrew put together a fantastic list.
Right. I kind of went to every region.
What's on that list? Actually, I don't even know. I know Ugadal's on it. What else is on it?
Mm-hmm. Well, there was these other 4 whiskeys that we're going to taste today.
Oh, these are on the list. These ones that we're gonna, or these distilleries are on it, but not these specific whiskeys.
But not these specific whiskeys, because these are not generally available. Right. I think the only one that's close to that is the Alba, and actually the Glendronach is probably available. Yeah, but
these are all great distilleries, though. I mean, oh yeah, this is all stuff that I generally really like. So, mostly because it's fucking whiskey, and I fucking love it. So. Hey, should we let's start. Do the thing.
Let's start. This is a Sovereign, a 22-year-old Springbank, and I don't know if you can tell that I've loved this bottle a lot. Just a remarkable distillery in Campbeltown. So fantastic. So yeah, we're gonna start here.
Sovereign. I love Sovereign. I like a lot of the stuff they do. Like, I mean, SMWS I really love, but like Sovereign is more accessible to, like, people who aren't SMWS people, and there's some really good ones.
There's some really good ones, and the prices are low, and especially if it's a distillery people don't know and you do, and you can go, oh my gosh, look, a Glen Scotia is available, or a Springbank or something.
Well, that's really gentle. That's light. 52%, so not, but still 52%,
it's over.
We're starting high. Yeah, that's reminds me. Go ahead.
Oh, please.
No, you first. You're the guest.
Please.
You first.
Please.
It has the nose of like the good section of the candy store.
You mean like the stuff that's made with actual sugar and not
yes,
sugar goo or something?
I'm getting like driftwood or like sawdust made from driftwood, like just really bleached dried wood, like none of the ocean, but the wood itself that's just like been out in the weather and it's just really dried.
And maybe some cinnamon on that wood.
Yeah, like if I was going to build this house would be on a cloud. Like I think this would be like not like where the giant lives, but that sort of a house. It's built on it's like a grandmother's house on a cloud.
There's a pear cobbler in the window.
You stick your finger in to get a taste of it, and she smacks your hand. She sees you with her wooden spoon.
I don't know. My granny is much nicer than that granny in this vision. She lives on a cloud and she's making cobbler, like pear cobbler. She's like,
yeah. Why is she up on the cloud? She's on the cloud to keep
because
people away.
Well, yes, but when they do visit, she's happy because she's also lonely.
I see.
Are you about to taste this? I think, are we tasting this?
I'm kind of ready to taste it.
All
yeah.
right.
This is really nice. It's my favorite whiskey.
Oh my God. Was not expecting that.
Yeah, it turns kind of in a sour direction at the end, but not in a nasty way, just like in a
just
yummy,
enough.
A yummy kind of sour apple sort of thing,
Yeah.
maybe.
Just enough.
Oh, it comes in like a wave. It sort of just sneaks in. So
Yeah,
pleasant.
and the nose is so accessible that, like, I was surprised that I got so much flavor out of it, because this nose to me is a little bit shy. And there it is. I love going back after having my first sip. I love going back to the nose. That's always my favorite nose, is like you nose it, oh, and then you take a sip, like, oh, and then you go back to the nose. It's like, oh, the nose is like, it's got all the palate connections going on, The circle is complete. This is my favorite whiskey, man. This is really good. We're starting out of the gate strong. Like, where are we going from here? We're taking some risks. So, like, right, because you've not had the SMWS.
I haven't had the SMWS one yet, so we'll find out about that. And when I tasted the Abuna Alba, I didn't write my notes down, so I don't know how I felt about it. We'll find out.
Yeah. What else, Kelly? You're making the faces. What's going on over there?
It really is like, it like changes the shape of your mouth, and you don't want to, but it forces you to do that. I don't quite know why. But it's almost like you begin to whistle, but for good, like, because you're so happy.
Ski.
It does have that tartness that reminds me of, like, in the cartoons where they would drink alum, I think it was. Like, it was like, they'd pour it into a funnel into, like, the bad guy's mouth, and it's go, and when you get like all, and you go, like, right? It kind of reminds me of that.
And Springbank makes this very beautiful spirit. So if you do get a regular Springbank, it might not be quite as lyrical as this, but you're going to find a lot of the core of a Springbank taste in this.
So I am void of information about Campbeltown, even though you've probably shared it with me before. I confess it might have been too far into a tasting.
Could be.
To recall it. Would you mind explaining this region to me again?
It could also be just like me. When you hear me talk, all you hear is blah, 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 whiskey.
No. When you talk, Andrew, it's blah, 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 blah. I fucking love whiskey. Blah, blah,
that's
blah,
true.
blah, blah.
That's true. So there's a peninsula in Scotland that comes down, and at the bottom of it is a place called Campbeltown. And it used to have something like 60 distilleries. It was crazy littered with distilleries. Every place you look, they were just crazy making whiskey. But a lot of them failed because they tried to do crazy things like age whiskey in fish casks and things like that, where it's like, nah, that didn't kind of work. It's actually nasty. So this one guy had Springbank.
I still want to try it. I want to try it.
I would try it. I would still try it.
After the Malort, though, I feel like
anything's good.
We had last time Kelly was on the show.
So he has the Springbank distillery. There's the Glen Scotia distillery, which we're going to go to next, just across town. And there was only 2 distilleries there. So the Scotch Whisky Association was going to take away the Campbeltown region, and they were just going to call it part of the Highlands, or maybe the Lowlands. I can't remember. One of those 2. And he said, no, you can't do that. So he actually opened a second distillery, or a third in Campbeltown. He had Springbank, and he opened up this other one called Glengyle, which makes Kilkerran as a brand. So now there are 3 distilleries there, and that's enough to keep the designation. And it has, they use peat from Isla at Springbank, but it still has a little bit subtler peatiness to it.
So you're saying for there to be a region, there has to be 3 distilleries in it?
Apparently more than 2. And
I would think that like 3 distilleries somewhere would like try to create a marketing thing by being like, you know what I mean? Like, just be like, Like especially like if it was like Speyside, because there's so many Speyside I feel like three of them should get together and be like, no, we're West Everton or whatever, right? And it's like, no, we're not Speyside, we're West Everton. It just seems like it'd be smart from a marketing perspective.
I guess, but Speyside is very much
it's popular,
a very popular known thing. Yeah.
It's funny because like I used to be, and I still am. I do love Isla, but like Speyside, there's some just really good freaking distill. I mean, there has to. I mean, there's so many distilleries there. They're like, has to be some amazing ones.
Right. Yeah. So Tipsy Asparagus in the chat was saying that Bruichladdich kind of does that as well. Like there's Bruichladdich, there's Port Charlotte, and Octomore. So they put out three kind of labeled types of whiskey. Springbank actually does the same thing. They've got Springbank, they've got Longrow, and they got Hazelburn. So they put out a variety too. I think is the Longrow the heavily peated one, and then the Hazelburn's the unpeated one. And
I always forget that Port Charlotte. I always forget that those are Bruichladdich though. I always forget that, because Bruichladdich also just has its own like, oh, this is Bruichladdich, So I mean, yeah. Yeah, this to me just is very woody, like dried wood in a tree house, or like, somewhere with a lot of open air, but like you're up high and you're in the trees, and there's like a bit like deserty too. Like there's like a sandy, deserty sort of quality, just very dried wood out in the sun. Yeah, I take back the driftwood because this is nowhere near water. This is like somewhere, this is in the desert. This is like a desert whiskey.
Very arid.
Like greenhouse makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, you're going to science it. Wow, I'm going to let you do that because, I mean, you still have a little left in your bottle. You can always wait till hear what Thad has to say.
So we know Thad has to put water in.
Yeah, because I do really like this, and I'm going to wait and see what you say for this one.
I mean, I wouldn't put water in it.
Oh.
I get more of the butteriness.
More of the butteriness?
There's like some buttery note in the nose that comes out.
There is a bit of like buttered toast in there, yeah. But I mean, I'm getting quite a bit of that without water.
I also did it.
You scienced it?
Yeah, I can't let Andrew be alone. And I like the sound of getting buttery. It seemed yummy to me.
I like butter. I'm not going to disagree with that. Oh, you like it. Kelly's making an interesting face.
Smells nice.
We'll see what happens when you taste it, though. Look at Andrew's face when he tasted it. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's 100% right, as usual. I would avoid water for the taste.
Oh, yeah. It became
it's like meat that's gone off or something. I
kind of want to put water in it now just because it's like when someone's like, oh, this milk is bad, and you have to smell it. You're like, let me smell it to be sure. Like I have that, that same sort of Longrow is peated.
It's smokier, I think. And there is a little bit, you're right. It's like the inside of an undercooked steak.
The inside of an undercooked steak.
Yeah, but without the crispy, yummy outside. Like no one seared it. They just gave you the.
You just cut out the pink. Wouldn't that just be an uncooked steak though?
No, because this isn't the same as like steak tartare or something. This is like someone made it a little warm and you don't want it. But it's smoky.
What do you think of this whiskey? What are your notes on this one?
I mean, I really like it. There are very few gentle light whiskeys that I would probably like go to again. Like, I'm sorry, that's just where my taste lies currently.
I understand.
But like for me, like I really enjoyed the nose. I really did. The nose, I got sugar, like a fruity soap in it for some weird reason, and then like citrus meringue. Like I don't know what citrus it is, but like some light kind of creamy citrus topping that you would put on a pie. And then there were hints of barbecue briquettes.
In the taste?
No, in the nose. In the taste, the taste was really weird for me. It reminded me of eating paper that had freshly been written on with fountain pen ink on it. But past that weird thing, it's I was getting some fresh oak. It was sharp and hot to me, and pears, like sparkling pears on it,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. And then on the finish, I was getting grass, which I enjoy sometimes. With water, it killed the nose for me completely, and the taste, I just got funk, which I typically like funk, but I don't want it to be introduced later after I already enjoy it.
Right. It's so good without water that you just, yeah, I would say red dot on this.
Wow, that is kind of an interesting experiment to try at some point. I do wonder what it would do is to taste something with water first and then like put some aside and taste it without water, because I bet the juxtaposition of swapping that up, you might in that instance sometimes be like, I don't know, I liked it more with water. First impressions and whatnot. I mean, this is all so subjective. And I just want to say that because I feel like so many people are like, no, tasting things is a science. And I think it's very subjective. That's kind of what the show is about, really. I mean,
yeah. And haven't they shown it with sommeliers as well? Just like, they get experts in and they put blind wine in front of them. They don't always pick.
They don't always pick
the best.
The Chateau expensive Von rare wine.
Chateau Von Trapp. Yeah.
Chateau Von Trapp. Welcome to Chateau Frau Blucher. I guess we should go on to the next whiskey. I think.
So disappointing. Okay, well, we can come back to that later.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a little left. So this is pretty. I like it. It looks like
pretty.
What is this? A sherry cask? It's got to be like a sherry cask, right?
This is an ex-bourbon hogshead that was then
really
first fill port hogshead for finishing.
Now, does SMWS ever put color in their whiskey?
No, they would not do that.
Yeah, because this is pretty dark for like a bourbon.
But I think they might be the ones that put it in the port hogshead. They might have transferred it from the bourbon cask.
Wouldn't they list that? Wouldn't that be part of their description?
Well, whether they did or the other folks did, the Glen Scotias did.
So even though it says ex-bourbon cask, it might have ended up in like port or sherry at some point.
No, it does. It does say it's 10 years in an ex-bourbon hogshead and then a first fill port hogshead.
Oh, I missed that part.
Sorry.
I'm already a bit tipsy.
Well, good for you.
Or I'm just really excited about the show.
That's 93.148. Outturn one of 286 bottles they got out of that hogshead.
All right.
Let's do it. Look at the color. Oh boy.
Now that's interesting.
Smelly leather sandals. Is it just me?
No, that's exactly what's happening.
I feel like smelly leather sandals, but with juicy fruit gum, like on top, like someone put their foot in there and they put some gum under their foot and they walked around for a bit.
I think that's a little funk.
There's a little bit of funk.
Interesting.
A nice sun-worn leather. Like it's like this sandal's been around for a few years.
Yeah. The feet that have been in it have kind of like been in the ocean a lot, so they're not like they're dirty or anything, but it's a used sandal.
Yeah.
It's like worn to the point where it's like it's not like dirty, it's just like worn leather. But I also get like some sweetness in there. Like I said, the juicy fruit, like there's like a bit of a candy store quality here. And light notes, high light notes of
just in the background was there. Yeah,
like a choir of children singing.
The baked apple, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, definitely some apple in there. To me, it's like a bit of like a bite of a caramel apple that has a bit of like a tart green apple with like a really nice caramel on the outside. Just a bite of that.
So far, I would say this is not what I typically expect from Glen Scotia, although they do some really wild things, so you never know.
Did they do the fish barrel?
I really want to taste this.
I don't think it says who put it in that port finish. It could have been SMWS, it could have been Glen Scotia.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of green apple now that I've said that. Like I'm going down a flue filled with like green apple.
Yeah, you know those like little snack packs you get at the grocery store with the apple slices in the caramel like sidecar?
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
wish
similar to that.
I wish apple juice could taste like green apple. If the apple juice tastes like green apple, that's what I think it would smell like.
All right, let's go in.
Oh,
What is happening? Someone
I don't
describe
know.
what is happening.
that was a left-hand turn. That was like a turn into like a non-Euclidean turn into some other dimension right there.
I feel like my mouth went to a different dimension. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
It almost got dry instantly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm totally salivating. Like it definitely like is very dry. Whoa. And it's farther back. Like all the notes are like up here. And then, but when I taste it, the notes are all back here in the very back of your throat. And like all those high notes.
Like it almost ends like a really dry Sauvignon Blanc.
A really dry one.
There's savory stuff in there, like a sauce, like a, you know, some sort of like sauce or like bourguignon or like a I don't know, but something sweeter than that. Like it's got definitely like a lot of caramelized onions or something that's, you know, like sweet onions maybe, you know, like I don't know,
almost like a chocolatey, maybe like a malted barley something.
Yeah. And then once again, like going back to the nose after the first sip is so great.
This is like a full meal. Like this feels so full to me. You know how sometimes you drink a glass of like a Cabernet and you're like, well, that was a journey.
I go back to this analogy a lot, but like in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory where she chews the gum and it's like an entire meal. Like oftentimes like scotches make me think of that because it's like there's so many steps along the journey, you know. It's like, oh, now I'm eating like a baked potato and now I'm having the dessert and now I'm turning into a blueberry.
So y'all have tried a lot more varietals of scotch than I have. I only get that kind of experience with scotch. I do like bourbon and rye and lots of types of whiskey, but it's just like a taste and it burns or it doesn't. And this is always so much more interesting and you can't ignore it. It's never boring. But why? Like, why though?
Well,
do you know why?
The bourbon producers are locked. To make it bourbon, it has to be a virgin oak cask. They can char it, they can toast it, they can do certain things with it. They can pick their yeast, but it's basically the virgin charred cask, which is going to impart those kind of vanilla notes that you get from a bourbon. And they have to be at least 51% corn, so it's going to be sweeter than what we get here. And like, you know, in Scotland, they've just been much more experimental with the kinds of oak that they'll put things in. And, you know, the shape of the kettles matters, and the angle of the line arm, and the way the worm tub cools it, or how much it cools it, how fast it cools it. Like there's all of these little things they can play with. And they've had hundreds of years to kind of perfect different flavors. I don't know. Not like other people haven't been making it for hundreds of years as well. But I think the fact that they're allowed to use whatever cask that is oak that they want gives them.
I think it's the corn makes a big difference. I think just corn is kind of overwhelming and it's a single note. And for whatever reason, like it doesn't, I don't know, that's just my guess, but I just feel like it doesn't, I don't know, like it's also like, I think corn is very homogenous too. Like it's, you know, like it's mass produced. It's like the difference between like eating chocolate in Europe and eating chocolate in America. Like chocolate in America is like, this is chocolate. And like you go to Europe and you have chocolate, or even Canada, and it's like, this is chocolate. Here's some other chocolate. I'm a different chocolate. Like it's got, you know,
chocolate.
Yeah. Also, Korean barbecue. That's the other thing in the taste, I think.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe a little like bibimbap rice, like it's like caramelized there at the beginning. But your caramelized onions were really spot on.
Yeah, definitely something
I
caramel.
fucking love whiskey.
I fucking love whiskey. This is unbelievable. This stuff is so
Um,
amazing.
What do you think, Thad?
Yeah.
Ooh, I really like this, but then again, I don't think I've come across a Glen Scotia that I haven't liked. So you know, off the back, sorry, on the nose, I got right away. I got leather. I agree with that. I got some pencils, grease. I got the tart apples. Dancing around like a little bit, like there was like a slight dusting, like a super small dusting of like pumpkin spice spices. Not really like what you would associate with pumpkin spice lattes, but like nutmeg and maybe a little bit of like cinnamon up in there. And then past that, I got some yellow cake with buttercream icing and a little bit of funk. A little bit of funk, like dairy that's almost gone bad, but you could maybe possibly eat it if you needed to, and you probably won't get sick. And then on the taste, I love the taste. It's savory. I was getting like cedar, like the cedar planks that you would like grill salmon on top of, like that type of stuff. I got some Thai rubber. I very dry wine, like a super dry sherry. And then some medicinal notes that reminded me of when I had to eat throat lozenges quite a bit. And the finish, I honestly
Wait,
would.
did you say you had to eat fruit lozenges? You had to?
Yeah, like whenever I had strep throat or whatever, you know,
Okay.
like you just
Okay.
eat them like candy, right? Just me, I guess.
No,
But
I've never heard it as like a you must do it. Like, remember when I had to eat fruit lozenges like that? But yeah, it makes sense. But yeah.
but yeah, and then for the finish, like I'd honestly buy this whole bottle just for the finish, honestly, and that's very, very rare. And this finish is very dynamic, unique, and like for me, it reminded me of Scotch tape and the air right before a massive thunderstorm. Like I don't know what's in the air. Like I know I learned it at one point, but like that weird like ionization and petrichor and like
The
geopsin.
ionized air. Yes.
It's like, and that's all in your mouth, and it's fun.
Bad, always coming through.
Right.
I fucking love that.
I fucking love that. His notes are so good. And I know now why they call it tour de force. I mean, like that's
Yeah. That's a good name. And what is SMWS? What do they have to say about this?
I was just going there. Hang on.
And Thad, have you scienced it? Would you? I just want to know, thumbs up, thumbs down, if you have.
I would say give it a try if you want. For me, it made the nose sweeter, and it made the taste sweeter. It doesn't completely kill off the savoriness, but it does bring out sweetness for me.
I'll try it. I'm gonna try it.
Right here, while you're doing that, you have not lived until you have tried a Francesina in Villanova de Gaia, looking over the Douro de Porto. Oh, thank you. Yes, I know exactly what that means.
Oh yeah, so relatable.
It is a Portuguese sandwich made with bread, cured ham, smoked pork sausages with garlic and paprika, all covered with melted cheese and a hot, thick spiced tomato and beer sauce. Big, chewy, oily, and powerful. We mashed it all down with tawny port with flavors of dried apricots, pear, guava, accented by applewood smoke. With a drop of water, there was a Clyde puffer under the famous Louis I bridge. On the palate, imagine a very young vintage port just bottled. And after 10 years in an ex-bourbon hogshead, we transferred the whiskey into a first fill port hogshead. So they said we, so I'm guessing SMWS transferred it into the port hogshead. Oh my God, this is...
Actually, the nose with water I really like. I mean...
You did it?
I did, yeah. Based on, Thad's recommendation, or like if it's like try it if you want, I'm definitely going to try it.
I'll probably always do it because I'm too curious not to. Even if it isn't as good, I just have to know.
Right? That's like Thad. He has to do the science. He's a man of science. The only good thing is, like, I know if Thad comes back to the bottle at some point, he won't add water at that time. If he didn't think it was good. Is that right, Thad?
Yeah, that's correct. Typically it's one and done, you know. Then again, it depends, you know. Sometimes, you know, like a year later, I'm like, you know, I didn't like it, but let's try it again.
Right. Oh yeah, because it's very.
And I do think at some point we should have a show where we try with water and then without water, like in that
Try with
order.
water
I
first.
think that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
You should
I think it'd be
definitely
great.
do that.
We will definitely do that.
I think that like it's still very good with the water when it's scienced, I love that you say that. It's still very good, but it doesn't have as many dimensions for me. It's not, the journey isn't as long. Like without water, I want to have like a steak or a really good lamb or pork chop or something with it. And I just want to pair it with food, meat, I suppose. This, I don't get that drive so much. Like this, I want maybe like a bowl of ice cream or like some vanilla ice cream or something.
I think with water, I like the nose more, but the taste less. That's what I would say. But I mean, I love nosing something so much that it's definitely worth it to try. I mean, with water, it's more of a force to tour.
Force tour. Yeah.
Oh, Joseph.
Yeah, I think I would agree with
it
your
was dumb, and
comment.
it makes me happy you laughed at that because it was a.
I fucking love whiskey, you guys. Did I mention?
I think that I'm almost ready to say that earnestly.
Would trying another whiskey
don't get premature, but we got to move forward. It's time for the Aberlour.
I think
Aberlour.
Aberlour. Yeah, I think another one will lead you closer. So here we have the Abuna Alba, which is a different variant on their regular Abuna release. This is batch 1, original cask strength at 57.1%. The legend of the Abuna is they found a bottle in the wall when they were doing renovations that was from back in the 1920s or something. And they tried to recreate the flavor with the Abuna. And that's apocryphal. Who knows?
So I was just going to ask that, like, because I like Abuna when I've had it. And now, is that just a regular release from Aberlour? Can you get Abuna, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, they do it in batches, and they release a new one every, I don't know, 6-9 months sort of thing.
Is it pretty rare? Is it hard to get a hold of, or
not generally? I mean, I wonder if they have it at K&L right now. Oh, I just have to type K into my browser. Why does it go straight to this website? That's so amazing.
Weird.
Oh, because of all the other people who have typed it so frequently.
Oh, that's probably what it is. Yeah, they've actually got batch 69 available right now, $84, $85. And they've got batch 71 available right now, $85. They've got Abuna Alba batch 2. This is batch 1, available for $80. They've got batch 3 available for $80.
I'm smelling it.
So yeah, they put out a lot of Abuna Albas. So yeah, you can get in there. It's available.
So off the bat, for me, this is a fancy confectionery candy store where they make hard candy. Like this is like, it's no baked goods. It's just hard candy. It's like those strip candies you get from your grandma, but it's a store that makes them and makes them well. That's what I'm getting. Like an ancient, like an old, like European come to the candy store, and it's like, you know,
You can almost smell the glass that all the candy is in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I get almost the felt tip marker in it. That kind of like.
It does smell like those pens that you would smell as a kid. But when I first nosed it, it also smelled like paint. Like it smelled to me like I smelled when you open up a paint can, you know,
mm-hmm.
of latex paint.
I think maybe there's also some strawberry shortcake that was like half eaten and left in the sun. Like it's been sitting out for too long.
Yeah.
So there's more saccharine to it.
You're still going to eat it.
I really want to sip this. Like I like, it's taking a tremendous amount of willpower not to sip this immediately. Like I really want to sip it.
You can't, Joseph. We're not there yet. You have to receive permission.
And we're at 57%.
We're 57%.
These have all been very smooth in the nose and the taste. Like none of these have felt like the percentage that we've been, drinking.
No, not like last week where the first 3 just burnt us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that with Roberto Lewis? Did he survive?
Yeah. Oh, he was fine. He was fine. He said he went lighter because he felt the first show he did with us, as the show went on, he drank a little too much. It's all on YouTube. You can go back and look. Check it out.
Yeah, I missed the first one. I will have to go check it out.
Yeah, it's becoming more kind of that paint or gasoline. And again, these sound like they're negative notes. These are all fantastic.
Yeah, it might even be, those air spray bottles that you use to like clean out your keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little
For
of that.
sure.
All right, let's do it. It's my favorite whiskey, y'all.
Oh my God. That is so new. And that's like nothing I've ever tasted from a whiskey before. That's what I love about whiskey. Like, what is going on in here? Like, these flavors they're surprising.
Yeah, what is that? That's some. I'm chewing on a balloon, maybe.
I think I'm in a convertible and I'm driving near like a farm that's just laid out some fertilizer.
Yes, it's like the new car smell juxtaposed with like hay and like fertilizer. For sure, Kelly, you nailed it.
It's so calming.
It really is. And it's so like, I don't know, like it's like every whiskey so far has just been like, hi, I might be like 57% in ABV, but I just want you to know I'm not gonna put that in your face. Come over to my farm. Drive your brand new convertible to my farm. Park.
Here's what K&L says about Abuna Alba Batch 2. Pale gold color for the beverage this is from actually the Beverage Tasting Institute, which like, oh my God, could you have a better job? Pale gold color, aromas of banana chip, shaved chocolate, graham cracker, and honeysuckle with a silk crisp, dry body and a warming, interesting, medium length honey biscuit, lemon curd, yuzu ginger marmalade, clove, and turmeric finish.
But that's batch 2. This is batch 1, right?
This is batch 1. But
I mean, because some of those notes though, I feel like are in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very much trying to reproduce this flavor so people know when they get an Alba, this is what an Abuna Alba is like.
Wait, an Alba or an Aberlour?
It's an Aberlour Abuna Alba. And maybe Thad knows why they're calling this Abuna Alba, what the variant is. I'm not saying he has to. I'm just saying maybe he does. Maybe he's looked it up.
I do not.
I think this is my favorite one so far. I just like
this is really nice.
Like the other ones, I would I would date the other whiskeys, and this one I would try to be in a long-term relationship with. Like, this is a bottle I would buy over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, just, like it hits the pocket of comfort and deliciousness that you expect from whiskey. Of just it is like, it's not even like a hug. It's like a conversation that lasts hours, or hanging out with someone for hours who you just feel comfortable with. And you're like, I'm not alone. We don't have to talk. I'm watching a show. Maybe you're not. We're just hanging out in front of a fireplace. We're just comfortable. We're comfortable together. Yeah.
I just dropped in the chat the link if you want to get it from K&L Wines. It's there. They've got 20 some bottles. 19. Oh, it's going down. 19 now. Only 19 bottles, y'all.
You sold that. This is because of you. It's a quick cart purchase. I might have to buy this bottle.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like this is the Aberlour that I would like Kevin to try in 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know which one I told you to get. I think maybe the 12-year-old, but yeah, the Abuna.
I think I'm gonna do
Abuna
this.
Alba.
This is really great.
This is really
and
great.
The finish like just sort of eases off, and then it disappears, and then it makes you want to have another sip. Like it's almost completely gone.
Oh.
Like maybe it's in the back of my throat a little bit, just a little spice, but it's so easy.
It's so easy. And you know what? I fucking love whiskey. I think this is a whiskey that loves me back. That's how I feel about it.
It
It's
feels like
warming
it
my heart.
does. It really feels like this whiskey like is like, you're great, you're doing great, and you're gonna be okay.
I feel so good about myself right now. Supported.
It's very supportive.
This whiskey is like, it's like, it should be called self-care.
Good.
In Scottish Gaelic, Abuna Alba translates allegedly to origins Scotland. So I'm guessing Abuna is origins and Alba is the Gaelic for Scotland. Gaelic for Scotland? I can't remember which. One is the way the Irish say it and one's the way the Scottish say it. And I should know.
It does have such a, this does have a very delicate series of notes to it that I'm worried about water. Like I'm worried already that like water could easily tip this in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Has
feel like-
Thad done it yet? Do we know?
Yeah, I think we have to
I'm
ask
sure he
Thad.
has. We can ask him. Thad, water? Yes, no? What do you think?
Actually, I haven't actually tried it with water yet. You know,
I'm not trying to catch you out.
I'm going all in with you all on this. At least for this is the most supportive whiskey I've ever drank before. It's a nice warm hug. It's your best friend saying, "Look, I know times are tough, but I believe in you. I'm here for you. I'm going to help you through this, and we will come out stronger together."
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, your hair looks good.
Exactly. But for more, I guess, relevant tasting notes, on the nose, I was getting some dry red wine, some fried plantains or bananas. I definitely agree with that paint. Like, thanks for placing that, because I could not place the chemical smell I was getting. I was like, latex paint. Yep, that's it. And then also some super flat or skunked Pilsner beer, which, it's a very unique smell, but it's, to me, that's what it smells like. And then for the taste, like, honestly, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's lively, but it's not bubbly. It's warm and fuzzy, but it doesn't tingle. There's a little bubble gum and maybe some mango chutney in there, but like, I don't know how to actually describe this taste. So, sorry for not being helpful.
It's supportive. No, hey,
That was super helpful. No, you were great, man. That was great.
you were
We're all
good.
great.
And you know what,
Another
Thad? Your
sip.
hair looks fabulous. I actually saw that on Friday, and his hair made me very jealous.
What little I have left.
Oh, come, please.
So
Dude.
none of us are sciencing it. Is that right? I think that's fine.
I'm going to take it for the
Oh,
team.
come on. You don't
I'll
have
do
to.
it too.
I've got a whole bottle here.
Oh.
I can't not. Well,
I'm
no,
about to go buy another bottle.
I got a half bottle here. No on the nose. It becomes dusty. Yeah, it's the dusty room where this bottle has been sitting. Your grandfather, God rest his soul, passed away 5 years ago. No one's got into his study, and it's become so dusty.
But he was so supportive when he was alive.
He was very supportive. So you feel very comfortable in the room. You know his essence is there. Most of the dust is actually probably from his skin. I'm going.
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't hurt it, but it doesn't do anything for it. So
I think it turned up the spiciness just a little bit for me. Like it lit the fire a tiny bit. It just is more of a flash than an ease. Like when you light we have a gas fireplace, and if you just turn on the gas a little too much, a fireball will come at you. And if it's the perfect amount, it just goes, whoo. This became a fireball a little bit for me.
right. And this is your friend saying, "Hey, I have something nice to tell you, but tomorrow I gotta go."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say no water on this.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't put water in it, but this is such a great whiskey. It's
Okay, I
funny
don't know
because
if you happened to notice earlier, but I fucking love whiskey.
There's nothing about you saying that to us right now.
Okay, good.
It's funny because like Abuna is one of those whiskeys that's been on my radar, and I've noticed it when I've had it. I've always liked it, but now this is the first time I'm like, I want to have more Abuna. Like it's some good.
Right, and I'm gonna have to do more study as to what they're doing with the Abuna Alba versus just the regular Abuna, and what, because they must be doing something to make it distinct from Abuna.
You know, we were talking about Kevin and his percentage of Scottish ancestry, and I decided to pull up mine because I couldn't remember. My largest chunk is also Scottish, so it explains so much.
This does not surprise me.
It's just 27%. It's pulling me in.
Well, I know that my grandmother's dad was Scottish, so I'm a quarter Scottish Canadian. Yeah. It's a
Right,
whole
and
story.
I grew up, on my mother's side, my grandparents were Jardines. I always assumed, because that was in Montreal, I always assumed that was Jardin, that was a French descent name. But no, apparently Jardine is a Scottish name in the lowlands. And I am actually majority Scottish in my ancestry.
I also know my grandmother's maiden name was Pepin, or no, wait, that wasn't her maiden name. It was her married name, Pepin. But that's from Pippin. So I'm also like related to Charlemagne. Yeah.
Wow.
But based on the research my grandmother did, I'm related to the actual historic spy that the James Bond books are based on. So I got that going for me.
Really?
On my father's grandmother's side, I'm related to the Comstocks. And one of the Comstocks was one of the biggest censors in the US during the early part of this century. So, or last century, 1900s. So I got that.
Well, my last name is Limbaugh. So as far as like, you know, connection to
Yeah.
things I don't want to be connected to. It is, I feel like I'm the one pushing this forward here, but we're at,
you're an awful person,
5:47,
Joseph.
so-
Stop making us drink more whiskey.
How dare I do so?
This is a really pretty color.
This, I mean, if you want a sherry influenced whiskey, Glendronach is your go-to. They do it so well. This is batch 8, a cask strength sherry, both Oloroso and Pedro Ximenez first, does it say first fill? No, just finest. So we don't know if first fill, second fill, maybe second.
Are all
fill,
of their, are they all like sherry influenced, or is that just something they do?
I don't want to guarantee they're all sherry influenced, but every single one I have had has been sherry influenced.
Yeah.
So
now, Glendronach is another one that's on my radar, and that I've been like, oh yeah, Glendronach has got some good stuff going on. Yeah,
they got some good stuff. This one's 61%. That is cask strength. That has not lost a lot in the years that it was in casks, and it doesn't say how old it was.
The Angels hardly touched it, you know?
Right? Have you guys nosed it yet? Have you?
No, waiting for you, man. I mean, this is the you can only have this whiskey after having some other whiskeys though. At 61%.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's still smooth, but I know it's still like these have all been so smooth today. Like I can barely.
This is gorgeous. This is chocolate covered orange.
I feel like this smells like the inside of the gigantic tree that the Keebler elves work inside of, but not like the Keebler cookies, like the real Keebler elves that those are based on. Like, you know, like this is legit magical elf tree in somewhere in the old country, you know?
Oh my gosh. This is my favorite whiskey.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to, it's going to be hard to move on to drinking this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a nose whiskey where you could stay there. And that in the notes, I think it should say the real Keebler elves.
Yeah, the real. Without parentheses, without quotation marks, though. It's the real, all caps, real Keebler elves, I think.
Okay.
Well, because it's not like real as in fake. Real, that connotates that's like, oh, we're the real Keebler elves, right?
Well, fine, fair enough. And instead of doing, he's got a real Keebler elves.
Thank you.
I don't even know what to say about this. I can't identify anything. It's like a strange hodgepodge of like, I mean, something's burning, but in a good way.
I was gonna say like
Almost like
burnt
rubber
brownies
cement or
or
something.
burnt dark chocolate or burnt
Chocolate.
fudge, you know, something like that. Like I definitely get a burnt chocolatey smell.
Like the chocolate is the, you know, that love drug. It just makes your brain so happy.
But rubber cement for sure. This does remind me of when I was a kid and I would like smell rubber cement. You know,
Yeah,
once
I love
again,
that smell.
those nostalgic smells from when you were a kid of like you pull like why did we have rubber cement? Like why did we use it for, and like why didn't we just use Elmer's glue? Like why is rubber cement? Why did we need it? I don't remember.
I was gonna say because when kids fall, they just bounce right up. You know? But
Hey, flubber. But like I do remember playing with rubber cement and like turning it into boogers and rolling it around on my fingers and stuff. Like I don't, why was it? It was, yeah.
it bonds to different materials, maybe better than Elmer's
know.
glue. And
Or maybe it was just to give kids a chemistry experiment and like, you know.
kids would eat Elmer's glue, they wouldn't eat rubber cement. Maybe that's it.
Well, there's maybe some like cherry gummies in here now that it's settling a little bit.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, you tasted it. He tasted it. I'm gonna
He
taste
didn't
it.
even do it on purpose. It was just like instinct.
Favorite? No question.
Oh my God.
And again,
Oh
if you
my
don't,
God.
if you haven't tasted the Glendronach, it is actually commonly available in a lot of bars. I would recommend you go out and find a sherry cask influenced Glendronach. They're 15. The revival. They've got like 11-year-old casks coming out as well. Just amazing stuff.
Now the nose, you gotta nose it right after tasting it. That's my favorite. So good.
There's some English toffee in this taste, but it's like, it's almost like you've accidentally singed your clothes because you got too close to the fire. And then while you're dealing with that, you ate some English toffee.
I feel
Hey
like
there, Kelly, you're on fire. Here, have this. It'll distract you.
I feel like someone gave me some cherries Jubilee and then they lit it on fire. And before it was put out, I just went, like ate it. That's, to me, that's what the taste is. It's like, it's on fire, but I'm eating, I can't not eat these cherries.
You get cherry in the taste?
I do, yeah. Although now I'm getting more toffee, like definitely there's that toffee taste in there. Definitely like that crunch of like, and you get that caramelized. Yeah. It's like someone is pouring molten caramel into my mouth, but caramel that has been that is almost like it is so like it is so dark and it just pours really slowly down your throat, like, you know, and almost like you can crunch it already, you know, like it's not a light caramel, it's a dark chocolate and a dark caramel. And I'm getting filberts.
I was gonna say dry roasted peanuts. That's
definitely nutty, but I would say filberts, or what are they called? Like filberts is what we call them in Oregon, but they're like what's the name of that nut?
That's the name, I think.
Macadamia?
No. Well,
The
I
bigger
mean,
one.
what are they called? What's the common name for filberts? It's I can't remember it right now.
Hazelnut.
That's it.
The internet to the rescue.
Also from the Northwest, that is what I knew to say.
Filberts. Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather had a filbert tree and he called them filberts on his property, and he would, you know, roast them himself. And
yeah, I think hazelnuts is right because it's a little milder than a peanut, but I do think roasted.
Yeah.
Very good. This is like, I mean, this is how you want to end an evening is with this. This is really
right.
You put on your cool looking smoking jacket and you light your fire.
And you know,
turn on some
track pants and you've got slippers on and nice wool socks and you're under a blanket by the fire with your loved one. Oh, this is it.
Thad, what do you think?
Well, I spent most of my time in the nose because there were some chemical compounds that I could not identify, but I finally got to the bottom of it. On the nose, I definitely agree with the chocolate, the orange chocolate, like all that. But there's some synthetic plastic chemical smell, and I've narrowed it down to either polyvinyl chloride or polyacrylic acid. Either of those, I think that's what it is. In the past, that I got Campbell's tomato soup, which is a nose that I've never ever gotten before in whiskey.
Yeah.
But it's
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes, that is such a great note. What you just said also kind of reminds me of Commander Data, because he would like taste something and then he would tell the chemical compounds of what it is rather than what it tasted like.
but
Do you are you employed in some way as a person who smells things and tells everyone what they mean or what they are? Because this is a niche for you.
I am not. It's actually kind of funny that I can smell as well as I still can, because during my chemical college classes, all these things like, oh, you probably shouldn't smell this. I was like, really? Like, okay. No, I love to cook, and I cook not based off of recipes or instructions. Like, I don't follow times. Like, I pay attention to my senses when I cook. Like, I look at what's happening, I hear what's happening, and I smell what's happening. And like, I let that guide how I cook more so than saying you need to add this at this very specific time. I mean, obviously there are maybe a couple exclusions to that rule, like when making a bechamel, but past that, just I mainly let my senses guide me. So
Yeah, I think that's like, I like to cook too, and I think that's a good, I don't really like, I use a recipe the first time I make something, and then after that I kind of like just gauge stuff based on that. You taste it, you smell it, right? You add here, subtract, but you don't subtract everything.
Apropos of nothing, though, growing up, we always used to call that beach camel sauce.
Hmm.
Not bechamel.
Beach? What?
Instead of bechamel, we called it beach camel. I don't know.
Yeah,
Kids.
all the more reason to use the recipe, Andrew.
Canadians, am I right?
Yeah. That's the problem.
I am sorry, but that is beach camel sauce.
Right? Now get your toque out of the kitchen.
It's gone missing. Wait, are you done, Thad? Did you talk about the taste at all? Or I feel like you just talked about the
Oh,
nose.
sorry. Yeah, no. So for the taste, honestly, for me, the nose is where I'm at with this whiskey. The taste I definitely got. It's fiery. There's some charcoal in there. It's oak. It's like a campfire inside my mouth, which not like the smoky part of a campfire. Like, it's not peaty. It's the burning part of the fire.
The heat. Yeah.
So
and this is the first one where I'm actually feeling that the 61%.
Yeah.
I feel like the taste, for me, I totally agree with you. Like, I love it and it's great. But the thing I love about it is it makes it creates that cycle of going back to the nose and letting me access more stuff in the nose. Like that is the value of it, is like, if I taste it, then the nose is better,
Right. You get more out of the nose. I agree with that. After that first taste.
Oh, I fucking love whiskey, you guys. And so Kelly.
I gotta say, I really do also fucking love whiskey. And especially Scotch whiskey. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna move in that direction.
Wow.
But do you love it more than Malort?
Well, no. Listen.
You monster!
If you want to see her true feelings towards Malort, her last episode and last year is on. You can go to the end of that episode and watch us taste Malort and just see how much we love that.
If you want to, I think, see the only time I've ever been angry on this show, you would watch that episode. I think that's the only time I've ever on the show been like, angry.
You're welcome.
Did we put in ourselves?
And I appreciate it, Kelly. Thank you for that experience.
When I brought some of the Malort home from Chicago, I knew who had to try it. I'm so glad.
And I think we said then, if you're going to taste something and you're going to say this is a 10 out of 10, you got to know where 0 is. And I thought I knew where 0 was.
And you need to know where negative is. Like, I didn't think that there was a negative. you know, but 0 is not the lowest.
It's
in,
not the
in
lowest,
flavor.
apparently.
There's Malort, which is like -1,000. It's not -1,000. It's like -12 out of 10.
Andrew challenged me to create a I fucking love Malort show. And I think at some point I'm going to do this as like a sort of, pop-up show.
Pop-up. Absolutely.
Because there is so much joy in watching people taste Malort, but I think I'd like to follow it up with like, now that person introduces the thing that they enjoy that's sort of offbeat. But you've inspired me. I'll be like a spin-off of your show, just a pop-up spin-off, and you two can be in the first episode.
Wait, do we have to
Look at Joseph.
Malort?
He doesn't want to drink it again.
I mean, I will if there's someone there who's never had it before and I can watch them drink it.
I think that's
right, because misery loves company. I think.
Yep.
All right. Then I'll split you two up and have you come on the show with someone else who's never had it. You can enjoy
and
it.
I'll watch them taste it, and then I'll go, I'm not drinking it actually.
And again, if you follow it up with something that people actually love, like that, I think that's a winning show. That's much better than our show.
Yeah, I would watch. I would watch. I fucking love Malort just to watch people taste it. Like because that is the pleasure of it. Is I want to watch other people taste it.
Yeah. Once you've had it, what is Katie saying? Oh, my friend Katie is saying Malort and Minecraft.
Minecraft, maybe.
Well, Minecraft is confusing. Katie's 7-year-old tried to teach it to me yesterday, and I couldn't.
Are you a gamer? Do you play games?
I'm getting into them. I am really into Breath of the Wild at the moment.
Breath of the Wild?
Which is the most gorgeous game ever.
I just won that not too long ago.
I'm putting it off.
Just a few days ago. Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy. Like I say, don't win it. Like that's my advice to you is don't go to the castle ever. Just travel around. That's because it's pretty easy. Killing Calamity Ganon is like, it's probably one of the easiest Ganon battles I've ever had, and I've fought a lot of Ganons.
Really?
Yeah, spoilers.
It's not a spoiler. It's like just don't, because the game is but and I knew this going into it. The game is not about defeating Ganon. The game is about traveling around in the do you have the like expanded content?
Yeah.
Yeah, the button that shows you where you've gone is invaluable, because then you can go like, I've never been over there. Oh, I'm so excited about BOTW 2. So excited.
What's BOD?
That's the sequel, Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited.
I don't know either of those.
I fucking love Zelda. I played all of the games. I love them all.
Love that.
My niece at one point was a Minecraft streamer on Twitch and had like over 85K followers, like was super, super famous, and just like walked away from it. Of course, she's, a cute redhead, our Scottish roots. But yeah.
Go back
and
and watch anything and learn something.
Well, it's like, how old is she? Like, I feel like as a young person, if I was young and had like a following, like, I don't know that I would necessarily appreciate it, or know. But then again, also, like, maybe she's super smart and she's like wise for her age, and she's like, this isn't healthy or good for me, like
she's pretty smart.
Being famous.
She was trying to work it, but she wasn't like cracking the real numbers where she could live off of it. But she was close. Anyways,
I'm gonna stick with fucking loving whiskey and just having 5 people watch the show.
Theatrical craft.
Perfect. But they're the best, and there's at least 9 right now.
You know what? I'm excited for everyone watching the show to try whiskey and let us know what you think about whiskey.
Oh, it's time for us to ask that question, isn't it? You're making the face.
I'm making a face.
Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
You've had several whiskeys so far, and we have a question for you. You've had these whiskeys, and we want to know, do you like Malort?
Fucking love Malort.
That is not the answer I expected.
What about whiskey though?
I'm still not sure. No, I fucking love whiskey, and this Aberlour is my new jam. I have to go buy have to go buy a bottle. It's so good.
The Buddha, man, it doesn't
Alba.
disappoint. It really
Thank
doesn't.
you both for this introduction and this overview of whiskey everyone should know. I didn't
Everyone
know
should know
any
this
of
whiskey.
it. And now I feel very informed. So thank you.
That's so good. Aberlour is one of those like Speyside distilleries, and it's very close to Macallan. It's very close to Glenfiddich. It's very close to like a lot of those Speyside distilleries. But it's so pretty. You kind of come around this bend in the road, and there's like these stone gates and this little stone cottage in the front, and a little creek that runs up, and there's this gorgeous waterfall up above the distillery. And then you come down and you go on a distillery tour, and they give you whiskey. They give you this whiskey. It's like, what are we gonna do? Yeah,
Wow.
it's wonderful.
I gotta go.
I want to thank Outside in Theater. Please like and subscribe to them. Please like and subscribe to us. Follow us on the Instagrams. Also, thank you for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for being such a fantastic guest. Thank you, Thad, for the best tasting notes on the planet and the technical expertise that makes this look at all reasonable to watch. Thank you, Geek Filter, for our graphics. And I think that's, I've exhausted all my list of things. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. What do you guys, which one's your favorite for today?
I agree with Kelly. I think it's the Abuna. Like, that was just so good.
Right, I'm going out with a toast with the Abuna. Is that the Abuna? No, it's the third one, right? Oops.
I have a little bit of this left, so I'm going to stick with this. But
Yeah, just a tiny little bit.
I'm gonna do an Abuna toast.
All right. Thank you, everyone.